but we are
Recording in
changing
progress.
and learning from each other. And this has been very interesting because we were discussing, and you have to think that when we started this project, we started in a period in which it was COVID, and also in a period in which tourism started to be recognized by the European Union as a very important industry. So some of the activities that we foreseen at the beginning, it was very related to the situation that was caused by COVID-19. But at the same time, we were taking a look to all the different initiatives, projects, trends that were happening at national, but also European international level in the field of smart destinations, smart tourism. And you know that now at the level of the European Commission, and we had in the events, the European Commission also explaining the initiatives, that is now a trend to help the destinations and also the companies to become smarter. And in this framework, we started defining this proposal in which we were discussing about which could be these digital skills that the workers of the tourism value chain could be trained, because we have to differentiate the training programs that are available at the level of the universities, schools, more official, but also there are some digital skills and also knowledge on the different digital solutions that are now in the market that should be known by all the workers of the tourism value chain. And when we are speaking about the workers on the tourism value chain, we are including here the public and private sector, but also the future workers. So it's important also to work with the students, which are going to be the future professionals. And that's why we consider that Erasmus Plus, it's a good opportunity to generate this knowledge, to generate these forums, areas of knowledge in which we can change not only at national level or not only in verticals, but also in an international way, in a transversal way. When we were defining these main specific objectives of this project, we were thinking the first thing, it was the part of generate this awareness. So it is very important here to generate this awareness in the digital transformation. That is something, a phenomenon that is happening in all the sectors, but we consider that it affects directly the tourism sector. Then we have to work in intensifying this upskilling and reskilling capacities of the tourism workers. And I think those are words that you have been listening in these last periods, because everybody was already seeing how the digital technologies and all the changes that are happening at global level are affecting directly the capacities of the workers. So it is very important that we are able to generate these knowledges in which the workers can upgrade their skills, and also to generate new reskilling of the workers of the tourism value chain, in order they can be adapted in an easy way and be more flexible to the constant changes that are happening at European, but also at international level. And as mentioned at the beginning, we're coming from a situation of COVID. We don't have to wear masks anymore. So in Spain, we have to wear still mask in the planes, but I think we are the only country now using the mask in the public transport. But well, it's something that we were suffering for a very long period of time, and it affected directly the tourism industry with all the controls and safety measures. And sometimes with our day-to-day, we forgot very easily and very fast what happened 2 years ago, but it was a very complicated situation, a very complicated situation. We were in a lockdown, and this is a phenomenon that we don't have to forget, but also how the COVID affected directly the tourism industry. And that's why when we were defining this project, we wanted to give these answers also to this situation that were happening during COVID, but also in this post-COVID period, in which when we were closing, when we were close at home with the lockdown, we were thinking how the environment had recovered. So we had a lot of experiences on the environment. With we had the dolphins in the bay because there was less pollution, less noise. We were all close at home, and it seems that the environment recovered in a way. So all the people started discussing about which could be the trends after COVID, about this more sustainable tourism, to take more consideration about this domestic tourism. Also that it was going to generate a kind of awareness about the human pressure on the environment. So there were a lot of discussions on the new trends, which we are seeing now in 2022, that at least in our area in the Balearic Islands, we haven't covered, because in 2019, we had 60 million tourists in over a population of 1 million inhabitants, and this year we are going to reach 17. So I don't know if we have learned a lot from the COVID situation, but I think it is important to take into account that these new trends on this sustainable tourism, of this awareness on the environment, and also these needs of this they offer a quality tourism, the safety and security measure that we have to take, how the quality of the service depends directly of the professionalization of the workers in the tourism value chain. And we have to think that our tourists are digital. They are using digital means, and it is very important. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this is, we pretend not need to be speaking for hours, but we want to have an interactive session. So first, Jan, Ludek, Sonia, anything you have to mention, feel free, open your mics, compliment. You were directly defining the proposal. How is the situation? I mentioned in the Balearic Islands that we haven't learned very much for this lockdown, but I don't know what's happening in the Czech Republic. Perhaps you also receive huge amount of people. So Ludek.
So I'm right now talking from the SME Assembly in Prague. In fact, from this big conference, and it seems that the SMEs get a big support from European Commission, and in tourism, 99.8% of the companies, as well as I've found in the last statistics, are SMEs, and we have dealt during the project with many people from SMEs, and we have learned a lot of things which we could utilize in the future when we do further trainings for them, because what we learned is that after COVID, we started during the COVID, as you said, and after COVID, the SMEs have a big problem with qualified workforce. We do not get enough people for this industry, because working in tourism is a kind of, the positions are underestimated. They are not that credible and that recognized as a good quality or a high level working places or working work, so that the people which we get are not well qualified for that. I also was talking to students. I had some sessions which were only for students of universities, and I asked them who from them wants to work in tourism, and there was 30% of the people saying, yeah, we do this just because of getting an education and getting a title. We are not going to work in tourism industry. And I asked them why. And they said, because we do not see a future in tourism, because we have these 2 years experience. We don't want to become entrepreneurs in tourism because it's too risky. Yeah. So I think that the education in tourism is extremely important for the future of the tourism industry in Central Europe. We get a lot of people in tourism and in the travel industry from abroad from other countries, because we also, because of the war in Ukraine, we had a big inflow of big immigration from these countries. And what you see in Czech hotels or Czech services, most of the people on the lower level of employment are speaking a language which is of course Ukrainian, and they start learning Czech step by step. So they also need a kind of further education in the industry. So education in the tourism industry for us is a very important thing, and we can utilize all the lessons learned during the last months for further educative project and programs. We are talking to universities, we are talking to high schools in Czech Republic. We have, through the project, we have got a very good contacts there, and we are trying to influence the way how they develop the further programs for the tourism industry on the educational level. So maybe I have now to pass over the word to Jan, because I'm in a room which is not for meetings. This is and it starts to be a little loud. So.
Yeah, I would like to mention a few things. First of all, it was a very interesting project for us, especially because the situation in tourism on Mallorca, or Balearic Islands, and in Czech Republic is completely different. You know, there is different seasons, different target groups. On Balearic Islands, tourism, I think, is the #1 industry. It's supported a lot. There is plenty of different support. They have a smart tourism strategy. And people are thinking about tourism a little bit different way. On the other hand, in Czech Republic, even like for the foreign tourists, Prague is attractive. Everyone knows Prague, but we have a lot of small local destinations which are mostly attractive for Czechs, because Czechs love to travel, and then they like, I would say that average family try to spend 1 week abroad during a year, but then many weekends and other holidays they are spending in Czech Republic. So, and we have really a lot of small and micro companies which are providing different services in tourism. A lot of family hotels, family residences, and then there the situation is completely different. Also, the seasonally, Mallorca, the top season is summer, like from May till September maybe. In Czech Republic, we have winter resorts, we have some summer resorts. So this was interesting, and also like this was partly mentioned, like especially in the micro companies. I would not call it one-man show, but quite often it's like this, that there is one person responsible for many things. So it was hard actually to find free time for them that they could go for some kind of extra education or training. In general, they are interested, but it's very, very hard for them because they really have to cover many different kind of daily businesses. And this was one of the challenges that we were really facing, just to find the day, because we had at the beginning very big interest, like, okay, 100 participants in a seminar, and finally 20 appeared only because they were busy with their daily tasks and with the business, because they have to run the business, they have to care about many things. So this I see as a challenge also for the future, if we are talking about some kind of future educational activities in tourism, to consider this and maybe really find the low season periods. And we've been working with many different kind of groups. It was like mountain resort operators, which have the main season in the winter. We were working with also students when there is a different situation, with some, for example, micro destination operators. So this is something that the market is very diverse. And if we would like to do some kind of more complex system of education in the future, we really have to focus on many small courses and workshops, not to expect that if we do something that there will be many. So this was the very interesting finding from the project for me. And then I would probably pass the word back to Dolores. Maybe, I don't know if you have questions regarding what I said with Ludek, or if you want to add something more.
Well, what I think it's we are going to continue explaining what we have done, but you have mentioned more important thing, which is the how the ecosystem of the tourism sector is composed. Because also in Spain, although we have a large tourism sector, also our economy depends a lot for in tourism. What it's important is that in our ecosystem, 85% of the businesses are SMEs. And this is something that we have to take into account when we decide how to help them in increasing their capacities, their skills, because they have their day-to-day. And for a family-owned company, it's very complicated to dedicate 3 hours a day in a course, because they have to sell their products and services, because if not, they will not be able to get money for their life. So I think this is something that we have to take into consideration. And we have to mention here that in the presentation, in our projects, what we have done, and you have here the number of events that we have organized. So we have organized different events in Spain and in the Czech Republic. So we organized these 4 online local meetings and 1 in presence. So using our own language, because this is something also very important to mention. So sometimes language continues being a barrier. So we really need to continue organizing events in the own language of the public, of the target to which we are addressing these courses. And in the Czech Republic, they organized 3 online and 4 in presence. And then we organize, and we are here, the people that participate, 1 international event. So it was last week on the 21st. And it was a very interesting one. So you have here Misa Lavarili, which is the policy office of the tourism unit at the European Commission. So we have Intelera, which are now managing the Smart Tourism Destination Initiative at the level of the European Commission. So we have Luis Campos, that was the curator of the Tourism Transition Pathway and works in Visit Portugal, and he's also very active with the members of the European Parliament in the Tourism Committee. So, of course, Ludek and myself, because we were representing the project, but we are also being involved in another interesting project related with tourism, which is the European Data Space for tourism. So we are generating also links and synergies between projects, which I think also the European Commission also wants us to promote. And then we had a comparison at the national level, so the levels of the ministries. And we had for the Spanish Ministry of Economic Affairs and Digital Transformation, José Luis Bezares, and we have from the Czech Republic Authority, from Visit Czech, I think it was, we had Jan Herget, which explained very. Sorry?
The official name is Czech Tourism, and they have a website called Visit Czech Republic. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And he presented very interesting project. So, and at the end, indeed, it was short. So sometimes to offer also this possibility to present these initiatives and to learn from that, I think it was very interesting. And then we generate also the methodology that was required for the project, and we had these questionnaires and surveys and also the handbook. But also we try to be quite intensive in terms of dissemination and communication. And for the online events, we are going to make them available in the YouTube channel, so in the website. All the information is in the website of the project. So it is something that we have created during the period that the project was lasting, but it's going to be available for forever. So in the social network. So I think it's something that we could be updating in future projects. We can be enriched also with the participation perhaps of new partners. But I think it has been a very interesting and fruitful collaboration in which we have learned from each other. And there were some kind of keywords. And here we have different people here present that we know also from our projects. We have the National Ministry of Tourism. We have TEMI6 because it's a data space of tourism in France. So some of the ones that you are here today are developing very interesting projects and initiatives in tourism, in which digital skills are required in a way, because it was clear when we were discussing about these digital skills that technology is a tool, and this is very important. So we really need to show which are these skills that are needed, the technologies that are needed, but at the same time, we have to also have these soft skills to understand for what the technology is useful, and not everything can be solved only with technology, especially in tourism, in which the contact, the personal contact, the human touch is so important and fundamental. So in this importance of the tourism digitalization education, we had some kind of keywords. So for us, the first one was digital skills, also because this project is related to digital skills. But then Jan mentioned about these target groups, and also in the tourism value chain, and it was something that it appeared also during the courses. Sometimes we were used to see a linear tourism value chain, and this is something that nowadays it is not viable anymore. So this tourism value chain, we can make it round or we can make it cross, because at the end, tourism is a very transversal activity. And it is clear that the tourist journey starts when you start defining the tourism experience, but when you are creating the tourism experience, other verticals, other sectors, other industries are also involved. Of course, the first that comes to your mind is transport, mobility, which is directly linked with tourism, because if we don't move, there are no tourism experience, but also agriculture. So there are a lot of tourism that is related with the consumption of local produce, gastronomy, and so on. But at the same time, the agriculture, the farmers are the keepers of the landscape. So, and the people, when they go to the regions to visit it, they don't want just to go to visit buildings. They want to see the green areas, the preserved areas that are being taken care by the farmers. So, and also the tradition. So we don't have to forget how tourism is linked with any other sector. Of course, health. At the beginning, it was not clear the relation between tourism and health, because we were used to have some health tourists that came to get some operations in our regions. But now with COVID, we have seen how important it is to link the health factor with tourism. Of course, education, we need the skills, and we need everybody to understand very well how complex is the tourism industry. So we try to generate this education, this training, to understand all the complexities of the tourism value chain, especially now in which technologies are playing such an important role. So it is important to understand that the people now is using the tablets, the smartphones, the mobiles, whatever, for everything in their tourism journey. So they are booking the hotels, they are booking the train, they are booking the airplanes or whatever through a mobile device. And this makes that connectivity is fundamental, but also the way in which we are implementing this booking system and what is in the background of these booking systems. So if you are more than 3 seconds in front of the screen and you don't receive an answer, you change your browser. And this is a reality. So this means that technological developments that are in the background of any tourism service, it has a huge amount of work using the so-called disruptive technologies. So it was IoT, artificial intelligence, algorithms, and so on. And every time more, because when we are discussing about this personalization of the tourism experience, we have also to discover how the technologies are playing an important role. And then it was the word sustainability. And sustainability, we have dedicated a course only for speaking about sustainability and how sustainability is so important for the tourism sector. Indeed, now sustainable tourism goes together. So tourism will be sustainable or it won't be. So it's like the new sentence. The ecosystem, because we have to understand, and we have mentioned it, which are all the actors, all the stakeholders that are involved in generating this tourism experience from the very beginning. So even the person that they don't think that they are involved directly with the tourism activity, and we have to engage it in a way and explain how important is tourism. So we had yesterday a meeting here at the level of the Balearic Islands, and there were people from the Red Cross. And they said, okay, well, but we are not directly linked with the tourism activity, but at the end, we're discussing how the tourism is affecting the workforce, how the workers are affected by all the crises in the tourism sector, how the vulnerable people is affected by the seasonality. So at the end, they said, oh, okay, so we also are depending on the tourism activity, and we were starting matching how the impact of the tourism activity can be so at different levels in the society. And then we have to continue increasing the competitiveness of the destination. And this is something in which we had interesting presentations on smart tourism destinations, the different initiatives that are happening at national level and international level. And we want to increase the competitiveness of the companies, that the businesses, they really need to reinvent all the time their experience, because people is always looking for unique experiences, and we have to help them to develop these unique experiences and also to communicate it in a proper way, to develop business models that are viable and they are also sustainable in the time. And then the concept of a smart destination. So it is always mentioned that it's a concept in which the destinations are using the technologies to be more efficient, to be more smart, and also to offer better services to the citizens and to the tourists, because we cannot forget that in the destinations there are residents. So there are people living there during the whole year. So I don't know, Ludek or Jan, if you want to, because I make like a kind of summary very quick, but I want to generate the discussion.
I think that we stay on, there will be a big transition in tourism in the future. And I would like to turn the attention of all the participants to the European Agenda for Tourism 2030-2050, which should be agreed by the European Council in December, and I hope that it will happen, that the Czech presidency will support these. And it's a very inspiring document, and also the documents which were created before these very short but strong agenda was developed. There were activities around the pathways for tourism, as Europe pushed tourism in a way. After COVID, we recognized how important the tourism is in Europe and for the European industry. And now we push tourism first as the first industry, which is used to demonstrate how it could be developed after the COVID and after all the other crisis experiences. And there are three main pillars of resilient of transition. It's the resilient transition, green and digital transition, all together reshaping the tourism industry in a completely different industry in the future. And I would say that also the role of destinations completely changing, and this is something where we should also focus on a future education and support of the destination management organizations, which should become not only destination marketing, but later management destination. And I see the weaknesses of Czech destinations, destination organizations. And if in the future, the destination management organization and marketing organization should become a kind of innovation centers, innovation support or supporters for innovation in the tourism, which is something completely new to them. And they should be able to manage all the stakeholders from all kinds of industries, from academia, from education, from other industries which do benefit from the tourism or which do support the tourism in the regions, and orchestrate a communication between them, orchestrate the collection of data, and create data sets which enable the destination management organizations or the governments to manage the destination based on evidence, on some making evidence-based decisions, data-based decisions, not just by feeling. There is this crisis, we have the feeling this should have, this could happen, and this is just trying. So it's not only the education of the people working in the destinations or in the tourism industry, but also educating the people on the institutional level and on the supportive level, on the destination management marketing organizations, to become to get completely new competencies and skills for the future. And this is something what is important for industries, especially in countries like Czech Republic. We have a completely different situation in Czech Republic, as you mentioned, or in Spain. The travel industry or tourism is recognized as an industry. In Czech Republic, it's not recognized as an industry, and this is something what's really blocking the companies in tourism from funds. The only fundings we have for SMEs, or the rare fundings we have for SMEs in tourism, are coming through COSME programs or in the digitalization, because tourism is excluded from the digital or from the supports for digitalization, for instance. Yeah. And this makes us troubles in Czech Republic, because we need this support and we do not get it. So we at Digital Innovation Hub, we see our role in promoting tourism as an industry, explaining why it should get the same support as production industries, productive industries, as other like creative industry, for instance, which have a completely different position in the Czech environment. And that's what we will also focus on in the future weeks and months and years. We do start some research projects showing or helping the regions to understand their own situation and the ecosystem in the region, and to be able to collect data and to make their strategies kind of living documents, developing according to the environment in which they work. And for this also we need skilled staff, skilled people, being able to understand what's going on, being able to read the data, and being able to understand the industry as itself, to create really supportive strategies for the future. And that's what we learned also during this project, by having the chance to talk to many people on different levels from different stakeholder groups and institutional groups. And this gave us a kind of overview on the situation here. And on these, based on these, we are now developing our plans for the future, how to support tourism industry in Czech Republic, how to create new educational programs or supports, how to involve destinations in research and helping them to create the future of tourism in Czech Republic.
Yeah. I would like to add shortly that the tourism market is very globalized. Like if the tourists are searching the destination for their holidays, so really they can wide offer, there can be on the same level some kind of micro region in Czech Republic and some kind of exotic destination, because the cost can be similar and they are really competing. But on the other hand, if you just look into Europe, each country has different level of support of the tourism. It's different level of development, different level of digitalization of the tourism. And this is very important. Is actually one of the goals, just to have an overall strategy for the Europe. Yeah? Each country is working differently. And for us in Czech Republic, this is like really challenge to work with the regions, with the destinations. Because also it was visible during the COVID, not just that now there was no offer, but there are no subsidies, no public money to supporting tourism. But especially during the COVID times, Czech government was supporting all the industries, but not the tourism industry. Like the tourism industry was always the last one who got some kind of support. Even it has the industry name. Even in the Czech language, if I translate it, there is still the industry in the name, but in Czech, as the industry, it's mostly in kind of automotive, recognized as the industry and related fields. Okay? So this is something which creates a big challenge, but it's important also to support tourism development in this field, because we need to be competitive with other regions, not just in Europe, but all around the world.
Yeah, but for example, in Spain, we are still struggling with this because we consider it as an industry, and at the level of our national ministry, it depends. So there are some departments of the ministry. So we have our ministry is industry, commerce, and tourism all together, and tourism it's at the end. Depends with whom you are speaking. Tourism is just a sector with a leisure sector, and for the others, it's an industry. So we are always also discussing that. We had a lot of problems to make understand how tourism is an industry link with the digital transformation, and we got it after a lot of complaints and fights and so on. So. But we had problems, for example, with the DIH. So they mentioned that the DIH could not be related to tourism because it was not an industry. And we were discussing very hard. And thanks to COVID, tourism was included as an industry. And we were able to have this DIH recognized by the national ministry. But it was hard. So it was not so so easy to be understood at the very beginning at the national level. For COVID, of course, our economy depends on tourism. So most of the support that came from the funds were directly to the companies that were affected by tourism. And of course, the tourism sector was the main sector affected, and therefore they received a lot of support. But now we are seeing that the funds that are coming from the next generation funds that are dedicated to the tourism sector are not reaching the companies, the private sector, and they are only directly implemented in the smart destinations. So, which at the end it's a problem for the companies because they are not receiving the money directly, so they have to go to the tenders that are being launched at the level of the municipalities, which sometimes they are not so direct, they don't reach the SMEs, and well, it's quite complex for them to be involved in this kind of project. So at the end, we have a lot of similarities. So because it depends very much on the ministries and the people that are the politicians that are managing, and also the civil servants that are in charge of the funds or the policy. So we have here Tatiana, it's from the National Ministry of Italy. So I don't know, Tatiana, if you want to offer your point of view, and we have Olivier from France. So I think it could be interesting also to generate this discussion among them. So please feel free to intervene and to take the mic.
Yes, just a small comment, because absolutely this is the direction we are going to see tourism as an industry. As an industry, you know that it is a crucial sector for Italy. It has a really large portion of GDP. So this is something that also the current institutional direction is to see tourism as an industry and to implement reforms that are going to sustain this industry, to make it more sustainable, more digital, and more resilient. So this is something that we feel that is very, very important. So obviously, as a partners of this project, we sustain so very much this initiative. And yes, and this is something that currently is a priority also for our institutions.
And we are so happy to have you in the consortium of the European Tourism Data Space, because at the end we are working together with the national ministry, and at the end the sensibility and the possibility to make you know directly how tourism is being affected. Also, this part of the private sector that sometimes is we are always discussing about this public-private partnership, but then we have to check how to make it real, and how to the private understood which are the main challenges of the public sector, and the public sector to understand which are the main challenges of the private, because at the end we are working together in the same territories most of the times, and it is important for all them that this collaboration.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we have also Olivier. You want to offer us the France perspective? The
Yeah,
French
of course.
story? Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. So I run Themis X, which is a French tourism data space built around Accor Hotel. And what we see in France, the advantage we have is we've got a lot of open data, especially on the tourism offers. So we use this a lot, but we still see that digital for tourism has not been understood so far as a high priority for the French public sector. It's changing. Just the past few years post-COVID, COVID helped for this, but there's still so much effort to do, and it's hard for the government to understand how to do this. We've got a huge lack of digitization of the 90% of small players in tourism. So money doesn't reach them. I understand. It's hard for small players to answer public tenders, even if they come from the city. But the first problem we try to tackle in France is lack of digitization of the smaller players. So it's hard to help them and to make them join smart destinations initiatives, because there are no tools for them. So we've got different, we've got to come around different issues. So it's more profound than data spaces issues. It's the digitization of a sector.
Yeah, of course, data is going to play a very important role. So, and I think it is going to be very important for all the actors to be working together. We have to see that this initiative of the European Commission at the end, the departure point is that tourism is not an European policy. So this is like in other industries, the European Commission has the competences to regulate or to implement different initiatives in tourism. This is not the case, and I think this going for the wave of the digitalization that affects tourism, it's a good initiative, the European Commission, to be able to generate a kind of harmonization and interaction among all the tourism ecosystem at the level of the European Union. So when we were discussing which could be the follow-up and future activities, of course, we are in this European project for the data space of tourism, which is called DATES, and we invite everybody to be engaged in a way, because we are going to start with a lot of seminars, events, surveys. We are going to map all the data sharing platforms that exist at the level of the European Union, and it is very important to be all engaged in this project in a way. We are going to search for new calls and projects to continue working together. So we have the Horizon Europe, the Digital Europe, so COSME. So there are different initiatives in which we can work at international level, and it's quite interesting because we can develop projects like this one in which we generate the ecosystem, and it is very important to start working together and to generate also these synergies and new projects. And then we propose, and we started with the creation of the network of DIHs in tourism. So we were supposed to start it in before summer, but we didn't get the approval of our DIH at European level. So we are with a little bit of delay. So now we have submitted again the Seal of Excellence, and we are working with, of course, with DIH Tourism 4.0, but also with Arthur. And I hope from January, we are going to launch it in a more official way or sound way, in which we are going to work with the 26 DIHs all over Europe that are directly related with the tourism sector. but I think that we will find more, because we are seeing that there are some DIHs that at the end, due to the activity that are in the main activity in their territories, at the end they are also going to work with the tourism sector in a way. So we also invite you, if you are members of the DIH or you are in contact with a DIH in your region, to be done, because from January we're going to start working in this network of DIHs in tourism. So, and I think it complements very well, because the DIH has a direct contact with SMEs to accelerate the digital transformation. It's putting together public and private sector, but also academia and research centers, and I think this is very important. It has a pillar which is based in the test before invest, so help the companies to understand which are the technological developments before having to invest them, in order to know if they are going to be worth or not for the business models. And I think this is something in which we can work all together, because in some areas perhaps you are more advanced, I don't know, in cybersecurity or high performance computing, and we are more advanced in artificial intelligence. So I don't know, but what is important is to generate these ecosystems in which each of us can learn from each other, can develop services in which we are going to complement each other, and we can continue working together. And this kind of projects, and that's why I think this Erasmus Plus, although it has been a quite a small project in terms of budget, but also in terms of time, has generated this ecosystem. I think we have taken a good advantage of this project, working together, developing the methodology for the courses, identifying which were the key issues to be tackled during all the sessions we have organized, and also to generate also the ecosystem and the synergies with other projects. So the first is these dates, but I don't think it's going to be the last one. I hope we are going to be involved in more projects together for the future, and we will continue generating the ecosystem and working in this area for many years. So we're open to collaboration, and we really hope to continue collaborating with you too, with you all in future calls. So of course, for us in the Czech Republic, it's always a pleasure to be working with DIH Tourism 4.0, with professionals like you, because at the end we are learning and changing, and we are generating and delivering very nice projects. And of course, project has their bureaucracy and their things, but at the end, what is important are the results and the contacts that we are generating. So this ecosystem, these networks that we are generating, which are really very important, and our day-to-day traveling all around and being in different meetings at the time. But at the end, we are here, and I think this is also very, very important. So I don't know if all the people that we have here, if you have any contribution, if you want, because we are going to keep it more or less in 1 hour and 15 minutes, because we don't want to be longer. This was only the final event just to explain you a little bit what we have done. And we have also created a Mentimeter, a Slido, sorry. I'm going to put it in the, so I hope you know how Slido works. So you have to go to slido.com and you will find the questions. So I'm going to launch it. Okay. Okay, you go here, which is the same number. And you start voting. Are you there?
I'm there, but I can't see the now the pool section.
So you want to go to Slido, okay? So people has started to vote. So we have to continue making this kind of projects, because people understood that is important. So it's a good way. So important, very important. Okay, nobody thinks that is not important. Okay, we wait a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds. Okay, so 80-20. Very good. We will go for the next one. Oops. Every time I click, it disappears. The second, who should finance extra courses on digital skills for the tourism sector? Okay, public sector, 80%, European Union, private sector. Oh, very interesting. Public sector 45, 42, private sector. Wow, private sector. This is very interesting. We will have to share responsibilities. So at the end, to work at the level of the European Union is not so easy. So I think we all understand how complicated, how complex it is to participate in European projects. The public sector, especially local, regional level, it's important, it's easier, it's closer, but they're not always, they have the funds available for the sector, as we have been listening. And the private sector on 31%. Wow, very interesting.
Because I think that, you know, what we can do, we can start to build up the recognition or the knowledge about the importance of skilled and educated people in the tourism, which could be supported by public sector. But at the end, in fact, the companies itself should understand it and should invest in their people. Yeah, because not everything can be done just by public sector or European Union. I think that we should show the private sector, look, if you have skilled people, you are more effective, so please invest in them. It's not all just about public money. Yeah, or maybe some public-private partnerships for this education, which is not common, but I think that we should think in this direction.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And let's go for the last one. Which digital skills do you consider more important for tourism? Okay, soft skills. Data analytics, AI. Okay. Data analytics is winning. Tourism, social media. Analyze the tools. social media. Soft skills, AI, data analytics. Well, data analytics is in the center. So we mentioned already that data is going to take a very important role. Acceptance of digital. Yeah, this is very important. So we were discussing also in the courses this part of the resistance to change, and which is quite complex in this period in which everything evolves so fast. So yeah. Okay. So, people are still writing. Innovative creativity. Yeah, very important to develop the new business models. Yeah. What's your name? Be digital. Perfect. Digital identity. Yeah. And also to be aware of about the importance of the GDPR. Yeah. Because at the end we are all discussing about we are all digital. We are discussing about tourism, personal data, privacy, and how it's going to be affected. So very important. Cybersecurity, great, yeah. So very nice, very nice pool. I'm still continue getting more words. I think it's clear that data analytics is going to play an important role. Soft skills also, we really need to understand how digital is going to be adapted. And then we have AI. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. Oh, cybersecurity is growing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, because I think this is very interesting. It's very nice also for as important outputs of the project, in which we have dedicated some sessions to cybersecurity. And I think this is very important to also that you all also recognize how important it is also with this. Okay, we are going to wait because there are more people still writing. So that analytics is growing, continue growing. Okay. So we close it, this part, if you agree. We are going to close the event. I don't think we have anything else to mention. So just to remind you that all the information, all the templates, documents, videos, sessions, content, and so on that we have produced during this project is going to be available in the website. It's mindserasmusplus.com, that you have it here. So please visit the page. Feel free to go there. Well, we really hope to continue working with you in the future. I don't know if someone else has a comment or a doubt or any contribution from your side.
Yeah, I just would like to highlight that we are both trying to take the role of the Digital Innovation Hub. Yeah, even if we are qualified on European level or not, whatever, I don't see it very important. And one of the main pillars, like Digital Innovation Hub, has 4 main pillars. One of the main pillars is education. So that's actually why we are working on this project, and why we see the education also as very important in the future. Because without educated workers in the tourism, we cannot move to other pillars of the Digital Innovation Hub. Yeah, so for us, it's very important, and we really see that. I hope there will be a chance to cooperate on other projects in the future, national level, international level. Yeah, it's very, very important.
Yes, for sure. Judith, you want to say something else?
For me, it was a great experience to work with you and to work in this field of education. I'm more and more stepping into this field through my studies and close cooperation with universities. So for me, it will be one of the main activities for the future. And I think that we will work on other projects, maybe bigger projects together, not only educating the people, but also studying the situation in the tourism industry, which is a great challenge for me. Yeah. Thank you very much for the best project leader. You will be awarded the project leader of the year.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. You make it easier. Olivier, you want to mention something?
Yes, just to mention it, Dolores, we discussed it already. I think all that we do could prefigure the identity of the traveler at the European level, which is a matter of governance as much as a technical issue. And I think the people here could be the starting work group of this digital identity of the traveler, and bigger than this of the tourism workforce.
Great. Yeah, of course. I think that we have now the continuation with dates, and we invite you all of you to participate in this project and to be engaged in all the activities that we are going to organize. And of course, these concepts as the digital identity, the data spaces, and cybersecurity, privacy preserving platforms and layers and so on are going to be the new trend. We want to be there, but also these soft skills. So be digital, but also soft skills, and never forgetting that tourism is for people and by people. And this is very important. So we have to keep the human touch and understood the technologies as a tool. So nothing else from my side. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for participating in the different sessions and to make this project a success. Let's be in touch for the future.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you all participants.
Thanks and goodbye.
Dolores,
Thank you.
any
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Pleasure to cooperate with you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.